Hey y'all, thanks for tuning into another episode. And so, when love feels like a trap, what do we do? How do we manage the complexities of what we consider toxic love? And I don't even like that term because I feel like if it's toxic, then it can't be love. But I think that's the first part of this. We have to learn when we're in toxic situations. What is the difference between love and manipulation? And one of the indicators of that, something that is tried and true and can 100% help you to see that, is knowing when somebody is in it for you and is looking for what's in it for you, then that's probably somebody who actually loves you. They're trying to benefit and add to your life. If somebody's in your situation looking for what's in it for them, then that's probably somebody who's trying to take from you. And that could very well be a toxic situation that you're in. Because love isn't, especially romantic love. Love isn't going into a relationship, annihilating someone else's life, pillaging their entire existence to get your own needs met, and then leaving them in a heap of tears in the corner. That will never be love. Love looks like finding them in that heap of tears in the corner and wanting to give them everything that you have to rehabilitate them and to love them back to a place where they can experience joy every day. Now, does that mean that you're there to fix people? No. But it means that you want to. You find yourself wanting to do anything that will make them experience joy and feel better. And that's the same type of relationship that you should be experiencing if you want to be experiencing what true love is. Love is also not control, guilt, and shame. Oftentimes, when you're in a toxic space, the person will say, I love you so much, and they'll try to control who you're talking to, what you're wearing, how you're moving in the world, the way you think about yourself, which is a huge one. And then they'll say that they're doing it in the name of love, but what they're doing it really, the intention behind doing it is so that love won't leave them. They want to make sure that you stay. So the things that they're doing are to ensure that you will. Oftentimes people say, why would somebody want you to feel bad if they want you to stay? Wouldn't they think that that would be the reason why you would leave? Well, actually, no, because if they convince you that the truth is that if you left, no one else would want you, then of course you're going to be convinced to stay because you don't want to be alone. So they'll break down your self-esteem in ways that that's happening so that you will feel like no one else is going to want me, so I don't want to leave. And that's all control. They will coerce you into believing that you are the type of person that they're saying that you are so that you will stay with the type of person that they actually are. The other thing is that it won't guilt you. It won't make you feel like, well, if you don't do this for me, then there's no way that you love me. Or I'm going to make you feel like I'm the victim so that you feel like you have to do this for me. It's communication, open and honest. And when you're in a space where love is what's actually going on in your relationship, you want to be open and honest with that person. You don't tell them things to hurt them. You don't give them information to make them feel sorry for you. You tell them the real of how you're actually feeling and you communicate that without calling names, without trying to make the other person feel horrible about themselves, but just for the sake of them understanding you fully and you being able to understand them fully. If guilt and shame are thrown in the mix, then that is a way to emotionally manipulate you into thinking that you're less than, and oftentimes that is so that you'll believe you need to stay or earn their love and attention back. And that's what toxic looks like. So, what can you do when you want to recognize if you're dealing with somebody who has toxic patterns, but you're not really sure if you're dealing with manipulation, if you're dealing with love, if what you're going through is actually a toxic pattern or not? Well, most of the time, what you can find is you'll see a lot of love bombing, also hoovering. Love bombing is when they show you these ideas of all of the grandiose things that they'll do for you. It's an abundance of flowers in the beginning, and it's abundance of expensive dates in the beginning. It's giving you all these things that they pretend are sustainable behaviors, and then it's taking it all away once you fall in love with the person. And then when they feel like you're going to leave, then they use hoovering, which is very similar to love bombing, where they give you some pieces, some breadcrumbs of that back so that you'll think you're going to get the full deal back, and then you won't want to leave. And then once you get back into the regular patterns of your relationship and everything's going fine, they'll take it away again. And then when you threaten to leave, the dance that you do is you threaten to leave, they hoover you back in with all the nice things. The nice things gradually go away. Then you go back into your normal pattern, and then eventually you're unhappy again, and eventually they hoover you back in again. And it's this cycle, except for that the more times you feel fed up and ready to leave, the more closer you are to actually doing it. And the more times they hoover you back in, the less of that original version of themselves that they give you. So what you end up with is someone who actually wants to be out of this relationship but doesn't know how to leave, and someone who doesn't want to give you any semblance of love because they want you to leave, but they want you to stay because of what you leaving means about them. They failed at another relationship, whatever it is. Another thing that you'll notice is gaslighting. And I know this term is very overused, but it really is not just lying. It's lying about a situation, but then convincing you that the way that you experience the situation is absolutely not true, never happened. So it looks like, well, that's not what I said to you, and that's not what you experienced, because here's what's actually happened. And then you say, well, no, because this is exactly what happened. I was there, I remember. And they're like, yeah, no, that's not what happened, because this is what happened. And they try to convince you that what you believe to be true is not true, knowing that what they're trying to convince you of never happened in the first place. And they do this because they need to rewrite the story. And since they can't go back in time and do it, they need to convince you that you're crazy right now in present day so that you will go back and rewrite the story in your memory to get them off the hook. You'll also notice a lot of emotional manipulation and blackmail. So they'll try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong so that you'll feel indebted to them, and you'll consistently want to fill in the gaps of all of the things that you did wrong with things that you could be doing better, because you emotionally feel like you owe them something because they've done this, this, and this for you. And so therefore you should be giving them all of these things in return. It becomes very transactional in that space. And that's what happens when people are in toxic patterns. They repeat these cycles over and over again. So if you keep seeing those repeating themselves over and over again, then you can go ahead and determine that your relationship has toxic patterns inside of it. But what does healthy look like? There is a stark contrast between healthy love and toxic patterns. I'm not going to call it toxic love because I don't believe that exists. Healthy love looks like support, trust, and respect. It looks like I want to support you and for you to experience joy and to support you in getting there. I want to be able to trust you, and I want you to be able to trust me. So I'm going to be fully transparent with what's happening with me, and I'm hoping that you can be fully transparent with what's happening with you. And I'm going to create a safe space for you to be able to do that. So I'm not going to judge you, throw things up in your face, and make you feel less than because you've shared your innermost secrets with me. And also, I'm going to respect who you are, where you come from, and what you need in this relationship. Now, toxic patterns look like I need to control you, I need to make you feel insecure, and I need this to not be a reciprocal relationship. I need to control you emotionally and psychologically, sometimes even physically. I need to make sure that I know exactly where you are, who you're talking to, what influence you're receiving. And I need to be able to control what you're watching, what you're seeing, what you're listening to, so that you don't start to see what's wrong with this relationship. I need to make sure that you're insecure. So I'm going to plant those seeds of insecurity inside of you so that you won't want to leave. And I need to make sure that this relationship is not reciprocal. So you're going to give me things. I'm going to tell you that they're not good enough. And then I'm going to require you to give me that amount of things. But then when you ask for it from me, I'm going to tell you to just accept what you're getting. And that imbalance will keep us doing a dance back and forth, but it'll also distract you from wanting to leave. And I don't want you to leave. Because here's the thing. Real love builds your self-worth, builds your confidence, builds your your soul and your emotions and just who you are as a person. And toxic patterns pull from it and steal from it. So if you're feeling depleted, that's probably where you are. So what are some things that you need to make sure that you're doing if you're suspecting that you're in a toxic space? First, recognize patterns. Make sure you're looking for those patterns of negative behaviors repeating themselves in cyclical form. The second is really think about how you can build your self-worth. Know who you are and what you should be requiring. Because God did not put you on this earth to not know who you are, who He created you to be, what gifts are inside of you. And He certainly didn't put you on this earth for you to be disrespected by somebody who doesn't know their own worth. And then the last thing is make sure you establish boundaries. Boundaries not to punish the person. Boundaries to tell yourself, this is what I'm willing to endure and sustain. And I'm going to tell this person that truth. And then I'm going to tell them what I'm going to do if they don't fulfill that piece. Because boundaries are meant to keep that person in your life. So if you want to keep them there, you give them the set of boundaries. If you've already given boundaries and that person just steps all over them because they don't believe that you should be treated with respect, there's no point in setting new ones because they're not going to abide by them. You set boundaries so that you can stay. So you say, when you call me names, it makes me feel belittled. If you call me names again, I'm going to leave the situation. Period. Because you don't deserve for that to be your story. Especially if they've done it over and over again. We're talking about patterns here. So set the boundary. Stay true to the outcome of whatever you've set as that outcome of the boundary. If this, then this. And then watch how much better your life gets, because even if the relationship won't get better, you'll be able to identify when love is actually a trap of toxicity and not real love. And you'll be able to manage your exit plan for how to get out of that situation and to be able to experience a life where even if the love that you're experiencing is from God and yourself, it's real love and not whatever you're experiencing in those toxic patterns. If this message resonated with you and you need a little bit more assistance and help, please go to my socials, follow me there, reach out to me, send me a DM and let me know that you need my assistance in this process. If this message resonated with you, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you're set up to get the notifications every time I put out a new video. And as always, remember that knowledge gained and kept to yourself is selfish, but knowledge gained and shared with the world may just be what they need to change their lives so that they are no longer living in the bondage of whatever they're experiencing and that they can live a life of freedom. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time.